es el toque del cajón. Vengan todos a cantar, vengan todos a bailar en el Smithsonian Folk Life Festival. Suena aquí, suena allá, suena aquí, suena allá, suena aquí, suena allá, suena aquí, suena allá. Alguien me ha llamado y es el toque del cajón. Alguien me ha llamado y es el toque del cajón. Vengan todos a cantar, vengan todos a bailar en el Smithsonian Folk Life Festival.
Good morning. Welcome to the Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian, your home during the Folklife Festival. It's my pleasure to serve as the director of the National Museum of the American Indian, and we are very grateful indeed to be part of the venue for the Smithsonian Folklife Festival this year. Y a nuestros amigos de Peru, bienvenidos al Museo Nacional del Indígena Americano, su hogar durante el Smithsonian Folklife Festival en la Alameda Nacional de Washington, D.C. Es un placer ser su anfitrión durante su estadía en la ciudad capital. The National Museum of the American Indians, the Great Inca Road, Engineering an Empire, and the Smithsonian Folklife Festival's Peru Pachamama come together at an important time and in an important way. Both of our institutions are national and international models of research-based presentation of living cultural traditions. Both are an exercise in cultural democracy in which cultural practitioners speak for themselves, with each other, and to the public. The Folklife Festival has strong impact on global policies, scholarships, and folks back home. In many cases, the festival has energized local and regional tradition bearers and their communities, and thus helped to conserve and create cultural resources. The festival served as both the backdrop and perhaps the inspiration for the consideration and ultimately the development of UNESCO's 2003 International Convention on the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage. Peru is one of the world's most biodiverse nations. The coastal, rainforest, and mountainous environments provide abundant resources, and many culturally and historically significant areas encompass complex layered histories. One of these is the Inca Road. The Inca Road stands as one of the monumental engineering achievements in history, a network more than 25,000 miles long, crossing mountains, tropical lowlands, rivers, and deserts. The Great Inca Road linked Cusco, the administrative capital and spiritual center of the Inca world, to the farthest reaches of its empire, The road continues to serve contemporary Andean communities across Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile as a sacred space and a symbol of cultural continuity. It now gives me great pleasure to celebrate these marvels with a champion of cultural sustainability, my colleague, Dr. Michael Mason, Director of the Center for Folklife and Cultural Heritage. Dr. Mason is one of the leaders of the Smithsonian's Recovering Voices Initiative, a signature program of our Consortia for Understanding the American Experience and World Cultures. Michael is a scholar of the cultures of the African diaspora. He first joined the Smithsonian in 1992, working at the Anacostia Community Museum, researching and developing the Black Mosaic exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Michael Mason.
Good morning. It's a real pleasure to be here, and thanks to Kevin Gover and all of the good folks at the National Museum of the American Indian for being such terrific collaborators as we've put together the festival program in conjunction with the Inca Road. It's this kind of partnership which makes our work very satisfying and, in fact, possible. So thank you to you and your staff. It's important for me to acknowledge the many dignitaries who are here from the government of Peru, from the US government, and from a wide variety of other embassies around the city. For us, this is a moment to come together and talk about what is possible in terms of cultural exchange, in terms of people coming together and speaking to each other. We know that the festival validates tradition bearers, artists, musicians. People come, they see the way our public responds, they see the change in their face when they hear the music, when they see them dance, and they're affected by that. And we know that that changes the way artists perceive themselves. That's an important part of what the festival does. The festival also, of course, is all about learning. We're sharing the richness and diversity of Peru's culture with the American public. And we're helping to connect Peruvians in the United States back to their roots. Again, these are really important parts of what the festival is about. But this 49th annual Smithsonian Folklife Festival, Pachamama, is really fundamentally about people getting to know one another. Human beings looking into each other's eyes, asking each other's questions, dancing together, eating together, talking together. And it's that bridge that is so important and what makes the festival, I think, something that it will always be relevant, because people always need to connect in this way. Last night, Minister Magali Silva made the observation in her remarks that she was very proud of the program that we were bringing because it brought the soul of Peru to the National Mall of the United States. If the program is able to bring the vitality of Peru, then it's a success. If it's able to bring the deeply felt passion that people have for the arts that they continue, then it's a success. And if people go away feeling closer to each other and some sense of recognition, then it's a success. We're very proud to have very ancient traditions like the bridge builders, forgive me. That's an important, very old tradition. More than 500 years this has been going on. And we're bringing chicha music, which is very new. It's that, all of that is part of what brings the vitality to Peru. The cajoneros that we're going to hear later, people coming together for 5 weeks to practice, to show that they are Peruvian, even if they're living in the United States. This diversity of traditions and the people coming together around that is the heart of the festival. And I invite you all to talk to one another and to talk to our participants today. Make sure you make a new friend, make sure you learn something new, and I do hope that you'll all also have a good time. Obviously, the festival does not happen by itself. I've already acknowledged and thanks Kevin and his team, but we have support from the Smithsonian Latino Center, we have support from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and we have absolutely necessary support from the Ministry of Foreign Commerce and Tourism in Peru. The embassies have worked closely with us on both sides, and in every case, people have said, this is important, we need to make this happen, and I'm just so very, very pleased that we're here today. También quisiera dar otra vez una bienvenida a los participantes, los artesanos, los artistas, los músicos, los bailarines y los muchos más que han venido desde el Perú para compartir con nosotros cada uno un pedacito de su vida. I'm very grateful for all of the participants who've come to share some little piece of themselves, and we'll learn more about them a little bit later. Finally, I just need to say, I am very fortunate because we have an amazing team at the Smithsonian Center for Folklife and Cultural Heritage. If you work for the center, could you raise your hand? Or if you've volunteered for the center? These people, every day they make it happen. Without them, none of this comes together. So now it's my pleasure to introduce the Undersecretary for History, Art, and Culture, Dr. Richard Kurin, who is a very distinguished scholar and was recently elected to the National Academy of Arts and Sciences of the United States.
Thank you very much, Michael, and welcome everybody here today, especially our minister from Peru, ambassadors, both representing Peru and the United States. And to many people who've come a long way from Peru to be here with us in Washington, D.C. Last night, we had a little celebration among the participants, supporters of the festival. I was walking out of that, and one of the women from Peru was looking around at the U.S. Capitol building and the Washington landscape, and she said, "Where are the mountains?" And I thought that was fantastic. And what she was looking for, I think, not only the mountains, but was a sense of where she was. What community was she in? Who were these people around her? And I think what we will see over the next 2 weeks will be the formation of a new community here on the National Mall. There is no more important place, as my colleagues from the National Park Service, as our folks in government know, as the citizens of the United States know, no more important place in the United States of America than the National Mall of the United States. This is where our own citizens speak to each other. This is where we have those national conversations. This is where we all say who we are and what's important to us. And that's why the Smithsonian's national museums surround that National Mall and encapsulate the treasures of all humanity, of this earth, and even this universe. Now, Peru is here, and folks from Peru are here to teach hundreds of thousands of people who will come and visit the festival. And Peru has really been, I have to say, a real leader in this. Kevin mentioned the Treaty on Intangible Cultural Heritage. It's in Peru for decades after the recognition of great monuments and great architectural buildings, which of course Peru also has, to recognize the living cultural heritage of people around the planet. And if there was ever a more important thing in the world today, where we see conflict and violence, we see intolerance, disrespect, and so on, to honor people's culture, to honor people's identity, to honor people who they are. That's what Peru has stood for in the international community and played a leadership role, and that's what the festival stands for. So we're very happy to welcome our colleagues from Peru here. The Smithsonian, of course, has a long history of working with Peru. That history goes back actually to the 1840s, to the Wilkes expedition, where scientists and scholars collected materials from Peru and other countries of South America and the Pacific, including, over in our National Museum of Natural History, a length of rope, hand-woven rope, maybe from a bridge of the time. Maybe like the bridge that's going to be built out on the mall, maybe like the bridge that will be displayed in this museum with the Inca Road exhibition. The Smithsonian has collections of thousands of biological specimens, has done work in archaeology. In 1858, the Smithsonian sent scientific materials and scholars down to Peru to observe a total eclipse. And since then, we've done many, many things, from the documentation of Peru's music and song on Smithsonian Folkways recordings to collections, as I say, in this museum, natural history, artwork, artifacts, oral histories, and documentation of culture, sharing that, joining with our Peruvian colleagues who have built, in their own right, amazing museums, institutions, and organizations so the people of Peru can understand their own heritage. It's with this in mind that we look forward, as I think Michael says, not only are we building a physical bridge out on the mall that will be pretty cool to see that bridge in front of the US Capitol building. That is pretty cool. But it's more than a physical bridge. It's important, it's outstanding in terms of what that bridge represents. It also represents a bridge between cultures and a model of cooperation and collaboration between the people of Peru and the people of the United States. And for that, we're very proud. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce el trío de la Estudiantina Municipal de Ayacucho.
sabiendo que eres el aire que respiro, porque acabar año de ternura, de comprensión, cariños y de besos. Amor, amor, quiero proponerte nuevas vivencias, nueva luna
How about another round of applause for El Trio de Estudiantina Municipal de Ayacucho. And now I'd like to, the Smithsonian, again, as Michael said at the beginning, really depends on a lot of support from our partners, many of them, certainly from Peru, as in this case, from the Washington area in terms of our volunteer corps that makes the festival possible, but also our partners in government, particularly in doing an international program like this, our partners at the Department of State. I think it's fair to say, and I think Molly Fannin, our Director of International Relations, is here to correct me if I'm wrong, but I dare say every day the Smithsonian is talking to the State Department about one program or another. The Smithsonian works in over 140 nations. And in doing this program, as you can imagine in this day and age, moving things around, moving people around, making arrangements internationally to put together something like this at the Smithsonian on the National Mall of the United States takes a great bit of work. And that's possible because of the leadership of our ambassadorial corps and our State Department colleagues around the world. And in this case, we had the exceptional leadership of the U.S. Ambassador to Peru, Brian Nichols. And as I learned last night from Ambassador Nichols, not only does he have a long and distinguished career in the State Department and a long bookend of service in Peru, but also, amazing enough, has a wonderful connection to the Smithsonian himself in terms of his own family's history. And that connection to our new National Museum of African American History and Culture that is rising on the Mall and will open in September 2016. So it's with great pleasure that I invite to the stage the U.S. Ambassador to Peru, Brian Nichols. Brian?
It's an enormous pleasure to be here, and it is a great, great achievement for the United States and for Peru to bring Peru Pachamama to the National Mall. 2 years ago, just after being nominated to serve as ambassador of Peru, I came to the Smithsonian and learned about some of the work that they were doing with Peru. The breadth of engagement that we have is absolutely tremendous, ranging from extensive work on biodiversity and conservation of Peru's oceans, its wetlands, its high mountain pastures, to the great cultural preservation activities that we have. Last November, I had the honor of accompanying the then Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel, to Arequipa and taking him on a tour of the the Jesuit Company Church in Arequipa, a church that the United States government partnered with Peru to restore to its colonial glory, a 500-year-old church, an incredible achievement. And something that demonstrates the incredibly close ties that our two countries enjoy. We've been able to bring artists, musicians, ethnomusicologists, and all sorts of different cultural offerings to the Peruvian people over the course of our relationship with Peru. And it's a pleasure to do so because Peru is a country where people value culture enormously. And to be able to show them the breadth of American culture as well as to invite them to share their culture with us is a great honor. There's been so many people who have worked on this effort over the last few years that it's hard to name them all. Certainly Dr. Kurin, Dr. Mason, Molly Fannin, who hosted me for the first time when I came over here, Sabrina Motley, who's come down to Peru several times to research the event, the curators under her direction, and obviously our fabulous cultural team in the embassy have worked enormously hard to make this a reality. This is a time to really celebrate that relationship between us. We're going to get to see things that even someone who's traveled extensively in Peru might not get a chance to see over the course of this fortnight in the Folklife Festival. And that's a real gift to us. Peru's been a country that has been on the front pages culturally in the United States. I'm sure most of you have seen the 36 Hours in Lima story and video in the New York Times, and that's just the most recent of the many things highlighting Peru, and particularly its great cuisine. For me, that's probably the most dangerous thing about being ambassador of Peru. Every day it's a contest as to be whether I'm going to fit into my pants. As I think about our relationship and where we go forward, I'm incredibly heartened by the strong cultural ties between our two countries and the things that we're going to do going forward. In terms of our culinary ties, we're very fortunate that this year we will have the visit of Super Chef Marcus Samuelson to Peru. So I'm very excited about that, as well as a number of other great cultural activities to highlight our relationship. And in doing so, I am quite honored to have a tremendous partner, one of the most talented men I've ever met, and a great representative in Peru, Luis Miguel Castilla, is Peru's ambassador to the United States. He is someone of an incredibly strong academic formation. He served in international financial institutions, as well as having been Peru's Minister of Economy and Finance. He's globally recognized for his understanding of world markets, but he is someone of great care, great understanding, and someone who has dramatically improved his own nation in so many different ways. And it's an honor to present my dear friend, Ambassador Miguel Castilla. Miguel.
Wow, with that introduction, bienvenidos. Muchas gracias por estar acá. Thank you so much. Actually, I had planned a speech. I've been adjusting it, hearing, and actually I'm just going to be very brief. As was mentioned yesterday, this is a couple weeks that all the Peruvians that have come here, and the Peruvians that live in the U.S., more than 1 million, we should be very proud of our roots, reconnecting, as was mentioned before, and this is really part of our life. I haven't actually. I'm going to learn a lot of things I didn't know before, and this is, I think, a great example of the great ties between Peru and the U.S. that go beyond trade, investment, security, education, but cultural exchange, respecting tradition, highlighting our diversity, understanding one another as true friends that we are. I would like to acknowledge, first of all the hard work put by the Smithsonian Institution, by Michael, and especially by Sabrina. Let me tell you a little anecdote. The day after my nomination was published, my confirmation was published in the official gazette, Minister Magali Silva invited me to her office. And my first activity was to meet Sabrina. And Sabrina, along with Rafael Barón, our curator, and the artists and the people that have been working, they told us about the folk life. And this was January of this year. And it seemed as an awesome experience, and I'm so happy that 6 months flew by very, very quickly. A lot of work has been put into it, and we really appreciate this, and we see it as a peak in our ties, in our relationship that goes beyond beyond all the things we've mentioned. It's just people getting to know one another, as Michael mentioned, and this is what the festival is all about. So I just must say how happy, how proud I am to represent my country. We have our different authorities, the ambassadors from the UN to the OAS, the Council Generals from LA to New York, my Peruvian friends, everyone that is here, and I'd like to just thank you all. We look forward to dancing, to listening, to feeling, you know, all of the Peruvian culture, the tradition, the artisans, the artists, the dancers, the cajoneros coming up, that we all feel very proud of. And so, once again, muchísimas gracias de todo corazón. Es un enorme orgullo y privilegio representar a mi país en este país tan cálido y tan amigo de Perú. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much.
Good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. My name is Magali Silva, and I am the Ministry of Tourism and Foreign Trade and Tourism. And I feel part of the house right now because I'm here, and I was asked to present myself. So this is the first step of being, you know, you're not an outsider, you're one of us. And I thank the Smithsonian for letting me feel like this, for making me feel that through this work that we've done, through those whole very, very heavy, very long days, no nights, and this work is done. And Sabrina, really my recognition, Michael, Richard, really, 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 out of my heart, we thank you so much because we learned so much. You are very demanding teachers for us. You have been. And I appreciate that because the work you've seen in the next 10 days is just the product, the result of that hard work. Nothing good happens without working, without really taking the time to put your soul on every little thing you do. And a lot of things are happening right now in Peru. As you can see, we're growing, you know, despite all those fluctuations of the economy, which is, you know, part of our history too. But we are strong. We're building infrastructure, we're connecting people, we're building ports and airports, we're building roads, we're bringing the government to the jungle, to the Amazon River, where people have never been contacted. And nothing of that would have been really what we show you during these 10 days without the help of the great team, the ambassadors, I said, Juan Jimenez. Really thank you for all the job you've done through this participation. Miguel Castilla, our former finance and most important man, like it was said in Peru, the finance minister, and the ambassador of the US, that we really, really, really to Peru, really thank you for all the great job that you've done for us. As I said, during those 10 days, you will be exposed to the variety of what the Peruvian culture is. We're a mix of regions, of continents, and really, really being part, we're one of the most diverse countries in the world, and you'll see that, because a taste of that is that we preserved our culture, that we are genuine, we respect other traditions, we respect other ways of thinking. And this is what Smithsonian has showed us through the presence all over the world, that to connect people, to understand people. You get to know them. And during this 10 days, you're going to learn what other people feel, what other people think, how they relate to nature. And this is the most important thing, that here we're going to be transported to every single corner of Peru, where through music, through art, through food, we're going to be connected. And as it was said also, the Quehuashan bridge is also a tradition, that what a bridge means is that now, during these 10 days, we're going to be really close to each other, American people and Peruvian people, and all the visitors that come through Smithsonian. So as a tourism ministry, I'm very proud that this is happening, because it will open the curiosity. It will opening your interest to be in Peru. And no more a los participantes, mi agradecimiento profundo, porque durante la travesía del proceso de aprendizaje a través de los estándares de Smithsonian, hemos aprendido muchísimas cosas. Y creo yo, and Sabrina, I offer my help, that for the next countries to be hosting this festival, we really want to be part of Smithsonian. We really want to diffuse, expand the tradition that Smithsonian has got over the years. Para todos ellos, les preguntaba ayer a los participantes, ¿qué piensan sus familias? Es la primera vez que han salido de su país. Y es todo un acontecimiento en las localidades, en Moquegua, en Ayacucho, en Cusco, en Ica, en la selva. Todo eso significa haber tenido la valentía de haber aceptado participar y estar el día de hoy para compartir con mucho amor, con toda la alegría del pueblo peruano, las distintas manifestaciones que hemos preparado para ustedes. Muchísimas gracias y espero disfruten lo que van a ver en el festival y ojalá se animen a visitar el Perú. Los esperamos con los brazos abiertos. Muchas gracias.
Soy del Perú, señor. I'm from Peru, my lord. Sí, señor. The land of the Andes, of the Incas and the roses. I'm from Peru, my lord. Soy del Perú, señor. Sí, señor. Y que vive el Perú. Thank you, Smithsonian. La tierra donde puso Dios las cosas más hermosas. Que vive el Perú, que vive el norte, que viva nuestra marinera. Marinera viva. Esta es mi tierra, así es mi Perú. 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 raza que al mundo escribiera la historia viril del imperio del sol. Enarbolada flamea mi bandera bicolor, en costa, montaña y sierra, con paz, trabajo y amor. La riqueza de su costa en el mundo sin igual, y la sierra generosa fructifica nuestro pan. Mientras la montaña espera quien la vaya a conquistar. El orgullo de mi raza es la historia del Perú, y quiero que este tondero con sabor a gratitud se escuchen los cuatro vientos en el norte, centro y sur. Y dice, esta es mi tierra, vamos, así es mi Perú. Esta es mi tierra, así es mi Perú. Esta es mi tierra, así es mi Perú. Esta es mi tierra. Así es mi Perú. Thank you.
¿Cómo es la cosa? Muchísimas gracias a cada uno de ustedes. Gracias por esta maravillosa invitación. Es para nosotros un honor estar representando un pedacito del Perú. Muchas, muchas, muchas gracias. Por una vereda viene cabalgando José Antonio. Se viene desde Barranco a ver la flor de Mancaes en un vere criollo. Va a lo largo del camino con hippie, japa, pañuelo y poncho blanco de lino. Mientras corre la mañana, su recuerdo juguetea y con alegre retozo el caballo bajarea. Finas garúas de junio le besan las dos mejillas y cuatro cascos cantando van camino de Amancaes. Qué hermoso que es mi chalán, cuán elegante y garboso. Sujeta las finas riendas de seda, que es blanco y rojo, qué dulce. Hubiera el febrero con solo cintas de seda, al dar un quiebro gracioso al criollo. Fere. Tú mi tierra eres blanda, le diste extraño andar, enseñándole el amblar de paso, ya no gateado siente como le quitaste durezas del vere que hay en su tierra de origen. Arenas le hacían daño, fina cadencia en el encar, brillante sed en las crines, el nervio tierno ya le tapar el deseo del amor. Ya no levantan las manos para luchar con la arena, quedó plasmado en el tiempo su andar de paso peruano. Qué hermoso que es mi chalán, cuán elegante y garboso. Sujeta las finas riendas de cera, que es blanco y rojo, qué dulce. Gobierna el febrero con solo cintas de seda, al dar un quiebro gracioso al criollo. Vere.
Toma, eso es, toma, toma,
Díselo ahí.
toma.
Venga, sabroso. Ahí están. Ay, díselo, dígaselo, señora. Ahí está.
Dice, toma.
Esto es el Perú, señoras y señores.
Así.
Lúcete, papito, lúcete, papito. Eso es, toma, eso es, toma. Voy.
caballo de paso peruano.
Así es. Díselo. Qué bueno.
José Antonio, José Antonio, ¿por qué me dejaste aquí? Cuando te vuelve a encontrar, que sea junio y garúe, mi acurrucaré a tu espalda, bajo tu poncho de lino, y en las cintas del sombrero quiero ver los amantes que recoja para ti. Cuando a la grupa me llegué desde tu sueño logrado en tu caballo de paso recoja para ti. Cuando a la grupa me llevé desde tu sueño logrado en tu caballo de paso, aquel del paso peruano. I love you. Thank you so much.
So I think that that was Minister Silva's revenge for the Smithsonian being such a demanding partner. I have to follow Eva Ayllón. Thank you. My name is Sabrina Motley, and it's my great honor and fortune to be director of the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. Thank you. Thank you. As you heard, we are demanding. We are also, as I said, very fortunate to do the work that we do day in and day out. We've also been called annoying, and that has to do with all of the things that we ask of our colleagues across the institution. And before I do anything else, I want to thank them for their support of this festival, the people that you will never meet who do contracts and make sure that we're safe, who feed us and pay checks, and generally take care of us in the way that we hope we take care of our guests. I also want to thank our staff, the designers, the technical folks, the production people, the administrators, all of the people who join hands and have kept faith with this festival for over 49 years. They're not here with us now. They're outside running around trying to make sure that the site is picture perfect for all of us. So they're listening. Can you please join me in thanking them? The festival is made strong by the stories that we're able to share, and that is also the great work of our curators. I have learned so much from Olivia, who you'll meet soon, Christina, and Rafael. They have crossed the length and breadth of Peru to bring you the stories that you've seen here now and the ones that you will encounter on the mall. It gives me such great pleasure to welcome them, to share a little bit about the work that we do, and mostly to thank them for trusting me, a new director, that I wouldn't get them hurt in any way, that I would make sure that their work was able to be as strong and as rich as I just knew every day they wanted it to be. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Olivia Cavaval, Cristina Diaz-Carrera, and Rafael Verón.
Buenas tardes, buenos días, good morning, good afternoon. We don't know exactly what time of day it is now, but it is the time for the festival. And it is with great pleasure and a great privilege for us as co-curators we wanted to share our experiences of putting this incredible program together. Through our journeys, bringing together 150 participants for the program, we have learned a key concept, Aini. Aini is a Quechua term for reciprocal collaboration. It is a practice whose origins go back to ancient Peru. It means trabajo de todos para todos, everybody's work for everybody. We each bring our knowledge, our skills, and our resources for the success of the larger project, all for all. This term goes beyond one cultural group, but organizes many cultural societies. Peru Pachamama has indeed drawn on the reciprocal collaboration at all levels, partners, sponsors, researchers, festival staff, but most importantly, the collaboration of the cultural communities featured today at the festival. And we learned the power of Aini from them. It is a concept that reinforces cultural democracy because it not only involves all members of a community, but recognition that all knowledge, skills, and resources are essential for that community and its individual members to understand the world and understand themselves. Thus, their own culture forms the basis of their identity, the strength of this cultural practice that is the essence of the group's identity, is taken by migrants as part of their culture wherever they go. And it is my great pleasure to now introduce my co-curator, for 3 co-curators here, Cristina Diaz-Carrera.
Thank you. The Peru program's organizing emblem is the Pachamama, which unifies 12 distinct stories represented by individual icons surrounding that spiral of energy that represents Mother Earth. These stories offer a small but very rich cultural sampling of the distinctive cultural diversity of today's Peru. As you travel through the Peru Pachamama program, you will encounter the richness of communities that make up this multicultural country. You will see how the Fiesta of the Virgen del Carmen of Paucartambo and the dance of the Sarauja have adapted to the changes imposed by the migration of its people towards the city. You will learn how the caballitos de Totora fishermen, weavers of Cusco, artisans of Ayacucho and Huancayo, and farmers from Huamanguilla, growing organic quinoa for export, have managed to connect with new market forces. You will learn from the Huachiperi in the Amazonian region about their efforts to revitalize their language and preserve their way of life in a changing world, as well as those of the Cucama through Radio Ucamara. You will enjoy marinera dancers and the artisans whose crafts adorn them, who come from different regions of the country and from the US. You can join the Afro-Peruvian musicians and dancers who have sustained connectivity with other communities with their own history. All these traditions are complemented by the emergent cumbia amazonica and chicha art traditions in the city that exemplify the synthesis of history and creativity in Peruvian culture. It is a culture transcending borders, On Sunday, our programming will also engage Peruvians here in the United States. So it's my pleasure right now to introduce our third co-curator, whom which none of this would be possible, Rafael Barón, our counterpart in Peru.
Finally, you will see how Highland villagers come together each year to cut down, toss into the river, and rebuild the Quechuachaca Bridge, symbolizing the link between the past and the future, and the link between the multiplicity of communities alive in this cultural activity that goes back more than 500 years. We invite you to walk symbolically over the Quechuachaca Bridge and stop in the middle, look behind at the Apurimac River, and forward at this world that introduces us to 150 people who have much to tell us as they form a new cultural community on the National Mall. We invite you to join this community where you learn new stories and share your own. Thank you.
Thank you. The Folklife Festival is about sights and sounds and stories, but it's also about place. And for 49 years, we have traveled the length and breadth of the National Mall, thanks to our partners at the National Park Service. It's my great pleasure to welcome now Acting Superintendent of the National Mall and Memorial Parks, National Park Service, Karen Cucurulo.
Okay, everybody has their hats on, so I'll put mine. Hola, buenos dias, bienvenidos, National Mall Memorial Parks. Okay, it's been since 10th grade since I spoke Spanish, so forgive me. Good morning, and I am pleased to be here on this beautiful day. On behalf of the National Park Service, I'd like to welcome you all to the National Mall, home of the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. The National Park Service is honored to once again be co-sponsor for the festival and provide the location, for it is here, America's front yard, that we have this festival. We have partnered with the Smithsonian Center for Folklife and Cultural Heritage for more than 40 years to present the festival to millions of visitors from around the world. Next year marks the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service, and to celebrate, we are encouraging everyone to find your park by discovering how parks provide connections to history, culture, and nature. And these places include not only national parks, but also state parks, local parks, museums, and yes, international sites. From Machu Picchu to the historic center of Lima, Peru, it is home to 12 World Heritage Sites representing areas of outstanding international and cultural and natural importance. I look forward to having you find your park, and for me to find my park as I explore the Folklife Festival and learn about the Peruvian cultural and history. Today, the National Park Service is pleased to be continuing its longstanding partnership with the Smithsonian, and I want to thank the Smithsonian staff with once again bringing this historical and important cultural and relevant event on the National Mall. I want to thank you so much for inviting the National Park Service, and I hope you have a wonderful day today. Thank you.
So, I hope you're ready now for a wonderful festival. I'd like to ask Minister Silva to please come to the stage, Dr. Kurin, Ambassador Castilla, Ambassador Nichols, Michael Mason, Ambassador Jimenez, please. Michael, you have the... Alfredo. Okay, I think we're ready. Please ring the bell. We're going to start the festival. Viva Peru! Woo!
ho.